Welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today we have with us Patrick Kelly from CMIT Solutions of Virginia Beach. Welcome.
Thank you, Corey.
Let me ask you, why don't you just give us an overview of what your company does?
CMIT Solutions really does three things. It stands for Completely Managed Information Technology Solutions.
Okay.
So we take care, first we're a value-added reseller, which means we can sell any type of hardware, software. We're hosting solutions. We're a managed service provider where folks are ready to outsource their IT altogether. We can do 24/7 monitoring and maintenance and help desk services for them. And then thirdly, any type of IT project management.
Okay. All right, so let's take some of that apart. I know you told me on the phone that you're a Microsoft cloud provider. Can you explain what that is and how companies can benefit by using you?
Well, a lot of companies are transitioning to the cloud. Some people don't know what the cloud is. Our tagline is we make IT simple. And so Office 365 is a new product by Microsoft, which really simplifies licensing and turns it into not a one-size-fits-all, but a solution that many businesses can use to scale quickly and have all the latest Microsoft products available to them.
Adobe just did that.
Yes.
Yes, I know. We're on the cloud, yes. Adobe Cloud. So,
software as a service is the way most large businesses are going.
And you know, Bill Gates in his book, something at the speed of thought or something, I forgot what the name of the
Business
title. Business at the speed of thought or something like that.
Right.
He predicted back then that software was going to go away and everybody was going to do everything on the cloud. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be buying software anymore. Right. And I got to say, it looks like he's right. That's where everything's going. That's
the way most large providers are going.
Well, I like the Adobe solution, so it works for me. So I just did that with a Windows 8 computer. I just joined Microsoft's thing, so I got the whole Office thing. Sure. You know, pretty.
And it ensures businesses have the latest software available all the time to them.
Right. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so you're a Microsoft cloud provider, and you're a managed service provider. Now, can you explain that?
Well, the old model used to be break-fix, where businesses would just wait around until something broke and then called someone in to fix it. And it could be very expensive. They could be down for a long period of time. Moving to a managed model is a very proactive way to manage your information technology infrastructure. So outsourcing your IT allows you to make sure that all the nightly updates are done, all the patches are done from Microsoft and other products out there without having an IT person on your staff. It takes an enterprise level IT solution and brings it down to the small and medium-sized business.
Does it does it help with security?
It improves the security because your anti-malware, antivirus, anti-spyware, and all your patches are constantly up to date.
Okay. And what size companies are you working with?
Our target market is 5 to 99 employees. But we've worked with less, we've worked with more. Okay. So, but the model is 5 to 99. Okay.
And I know it says your IT data management was another thing you mentioned.
Well, we like to pride ourselves on making sure that our clients have business continuity. Mm-hmm. Business continuity means they have a data backup plan in place and a business recovery plan if there's a disaster in their business. So making sure that their data is stored both locally and off-site without having to do it manually. Those days are gone. It makes sense to automate that process now so that your data is stored automatically in more than one location. It is.
Okay. All right.
We
so
provide
you all
backup
store it?
data.
Do you store it? I'm sorry, but do you store it?
It's stored in facilities that are HIPAA compliant, SAS 70 compliant, so it takes care of all the regulatory requirements for medical, legal, and financial institutions.
Okay. All right. And you also do something that's important, which of course is backup. We just spoke about backup, but recovery as well.
Right. Our clients, we test monthly. Most people will say they have data backup and recovery, but they've never tested it. We can walk into clients and ask them, when was the last time you restored a file from your backup? Only to find out that it hasn't been working for 6 months. Or in one case, the individual had manually been taking the tapes to his safe weekly to find out that every time they put the magnetic tape in the safe, the magnet in the safe was wiping it as they put it in there. And their data was not backed up.
Oh, that's not good. I got one for you. I had a service everybody's familiar with, probably, called Carbonite. I had a service, and I lost a computer, and I said, well, that's okay. I've got everything backed up. Well, I just didn't actually pay attention because they told me. I guess they tell you in the, the terms of agreement. Everybody just checks and never reads. but they said so in there. But their system backs up everything except video files, unless you tell it to back up the video files. I just assumed it backed up the video files.
Oh, boy.
So I had a whole lot of projects and things like that that I thought would be totally backed up. Turned out they backed up everything except the video.
So you had a big data loss.
Yeah. So anyway, I had a lot of reconstructing to do and everything. So that was a real lesson to learn.
The objective is to proactively make sure that it's being backed up and then test it on a regular basis to ensure that it is recoverable.
Right. Okay. All right. And you have IT project management.
We have a staff and flexibility throughout our system to add resources as needed. So my background is in the Air Force of 24 years, cyber officer, retired. And so, for instance, this summer we did a big project with a manufacturing company. They wanted to improve go from a paper process to an electronic process, and we installed digital touchscreens on their manufacturing line. So it took away tons of paper every day of the manual process so that the employees on the line could actually just touch and see the development process available to them.
Okay. Maybe they need to hire somebody like you for the Obamacare website.
They sure have wasted a lot of money.
They sure have. That's a whole nother story. It's just pathetic. But anyway, it's good for the comedians, though. There's some great jokes coming out of it. Okay, so when is a good time for people to upgrade? Is that something that you help your clients with doing?
We do. We go in and do a technology assessment, and in most cases, if they haven't upgraded in a long time, we'll recommend a tech refresh. Now is actually a great time to do a tech refresh. We have the death of XP coming. Microsoft XP is no longer supported as of April 2014. We have new processors coming out from Intel called the Haswell processor. And we have the solid state drives, which greatly improves from hitting the button and having your machine available from the old days where you would turn it on, go get a cup of coffee, and come back and then go to work. Well, it's a great time right now to upgrade to the latest processors. People haven't upgraded for 4 to 5 years. So the amount of lost productivity working on old machines or XP, or even some people still have Vista, Microsoft Vista out there.
Vista was horrible.
It's a great time to upgrade. Plus, the end of 2013 here, businesses still have the ability to take advantage of the $500,000 capital write-off for upgrades.
Right.
Capital investment tax.
Right. Well, I know that I recently got 2 Windows 8 computers. And my first experience with it was not pleasant. I didn't care for it. It was different than 7. 7 was a huge improvement over Vista. But I just didn't, it's kind of geared for a touch screen in a lot of ways. Sure. So just the typical things you're used to finding the off button and everything, you got to mess with it. Yeah, start button. So it was a whole different way of looking at it. And then I found workarounds. I could download Classic Shell, and it would give me those controls back and all kinds of stuff. But I noticed that it is tremendously faster. It comes right up on startup and things, where even 7 took a little time. But technology continues to move, and I happen to be a Windows guy. But I have a lot of people in the Mac side, and their technology is constantly improving as well. So I guess companies can benefit from better performance and all. And you help them upgrade all of their systems.
We do.
Okay.
We can take care of Mac environments.
I was going to ask that.
Our Network Operations Center does support that, and Help Desk. And with regard to Windows 8, people do not like change, and Windows 8 was the greatest change for Windows in a long time.
Once you get used to it, it's, you just got to get used to it.
It's a tough change. Windows 8.1 has been released, which we are recommending that people upgrade to that. Especially in a business environment, they should have Windows 8 Professional, or Windows 8.1 Professional version. But Windows 8.1 does bring the Start button back for those people that really miss it.
Or you can download, I think the thing's called Classic Shell. You can get it off CNET, and it's virus-free and everything, but it gives you all the functionality of 7 on your taskbar at the bottom if you want it, and so it's great. So I was able to do that myself on the home one. Speaking of that, if a company has an in-house IT guy, you still work with those companies because they get overwhelmed and they need more help? Or?
Yeah, for instance, a 50-person company may have 1 IT person. And to hire a second IT person is mostly restrictive on a lot of small, medium-sized businesses. So what we can do in that type of situation is take all the daily mundane tasks off of that individual, all the patching and antivirus and anti-malware and everything that we spoke of, and automate that so that that individual can focus on the IT needs specifically to that business.
Okay. And
so we're a great supplement to them.
How small of a business?
We've seen up to 25 employees without an IT person on staff. It's really a management decision of where that point is where you need someone on site to physically touch things.
So some of the clients that you have now, you don't have to name names, but some of the clients that you have now, would it be law firms and things like that maybe?
We are. We're working with a lot of service firms, roofing, flooring, moving companies.
Medical?
But we also are in we're in the legal space. We have law offices, manufacturing. We have actually working with a boiler company. In the medical space, we're working with orthodontists, eye doctors, dentists, and so that brings about the HIPAA compliance.
Yeah, when you mentioned that, I was just thinking that would be where that would come into play. Okay. Well, is there anything that, I know that you can work anywhere because you can work by computer, so you don't have to make a house call for most things, correct?
We try to make sure that we have all the tools in place to do as much as we can remotely.
Okay.
So that avoids the cost of having to bring someone on site to do a physical touch.
Right.
But we build a service level agreement with our clients so that if we can't fix it within a certain period of time, we have someone on site within 2 or 4 hours, depending on the needs, depending on the service level agreement that they need.
Okay. Well, 2 to 4 hours, that might get you through the tunnel.
It might. It is a challenge in Hampton Roads.
Hampton Roads is a little challenging. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything that I haven't covered that you wanted to talk about?
As far as HIPAA goes for the medical community, we have spent a lot of time, effort, and money to get to a point where we can support them. September 23rd, HIPAA compliance changed from, well, here's HIPAA to now we're going to enforce HIPAA. So the omnibus rules state that as a provider to a medical community, we may see private health information or electronic private health information, and that makes us a business associate. So we are a HIPAA compliant managed service provider now.
I see.
And we can also provide the medical community or anyone that deals with protected health information their annual assessment, which is required, and their policies and procedures that they have to put in place to protect medical information.
Okay. And of course, if a company doesn't quite understand where they stand with all this, they could give you a call and you could tell them.
They can. We can do an assessment for them.
All right, because that would, with all the changes and laws and everything going on all the time, it's really hard to keep up with what's going on.
Yeah.
Isn't there a financial rule with the credit cards about storing numbers and things?
Yeah, there's PCI compliance,
right,
which you're required to do an annual PCI compliance audit on your business if you transact so many transactions with a credit card. And so it's very important to make sure you're not violating that and losing people's financial information as well.
Right, right. And I think that's if you're storing their information, you have to be able to...
You have to be PCI compliant.
Be able to protect it. Okay. All right. Well, so if you have a business and you are looking to get it up and running or upgraded or expanded, or you're an IT guy who just is overwhelmed and needs some help, you can call Patrick Kelly at the information at the end of this video and on the bottom of this page. If you need more information about the HIPAA laws or whatever, I'm sure he would be able to help you and tell you what compliance you need to have, and might be able to help you out there. So I thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Rory.
And I wish you a great deal of success.
And as well you. Thank you for your time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.